How do you move? You have to search for truth. That's how you find it. The Bible talks about it's the glory of God to conceal a matter. Mm-hmm. It's the glory of kings to search it out.
What I'm curious is, especially when it comes to, I'd say 8-figure, 9-figure plus entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. What's your approach to get them to adopt this message?
By definition, if you're operating outside of integration and alignment, you're experiencing. My heart breaks for humanity right now. It's funny, Jesus is on the cross, and these words are like ringing true to my soul right now. And it's, forgive them, Father, they know not what they do.
I just got chills.
This world right now that is self-manifesting its divisiveness is missing the authenticity that comes from absolute truth and not broadcasted truth that's influenced by outside sources.
Welcome to the Seeding Greatness podcast, man. I got a heater for you today. Stephen Scoggins, man. I was introduced to him by our mutual friend, Tamara Andress. And number one, if you don't know Tamara, you got to know her. Woman of faith, powerful business coach. And if Tamara tells me I need to meet somebody, I know I need to meet somebody. And so he was already sold in my book. But then I went on my binge watch and my binge listen, and I fell in love with two specific things about this man. Thing number one was the obviousness of his character. I assess character by how people treat other people. And I observed him in multiple environments, in multiple situations, talking to multiple people. And I noticed that there was no difference. He just exuded love and exuded service. And so I really respected that about him, was his character. And then the second thing was just as a student of professional development, as a spiritual teacher, it's hard to find people that love Jesus and can speak the language of frequency, and beyond. And so I love that about him, because for me, I'm valuing people who can navigate those conversations more in this season of my life. And so found me a new podcast to listen to, a new leader to follow, and a new friend to call when I need. Just had the opportunity to be on his podcast, which was awesome, by the way. We went into a lot of stuff. Yeah. So we already warmed up. We already ready to go. And I want to hit it. Like, so they don't know that you went from being homeless to being, a very successful entrepreneur, not just externally, but internally. Mm-hmm. So give us like the 5-minute version of the story. And then I just love to have you hit, how, as you navigated that story, like when did this awareness around this, holistic language around how you describe your faith start to enter?
Yeah. Gosh, bro, I love you.
Yeah.
You're so amazing, man. All right. So the quick rundown, 9 years old. You and I actually briefly talked about this. Yeah. My grandmother, who was raising me at the time, my parents were all, fighting their own challenges at the time. Basically came to me and she said, "Hey, look, she just told me she was sick. She didn't tell me like what was going on, but come to find out it was cancer. I literally had a G.I. Joe in one hand and Transformer in the other. I can literally see Snake Eyes over here and Bumblebee over here in my hands. And she basically asked me to step up and be the man of the house. Mm. Now, for those of your audience that actually have young children and they're 9-year-olds, probably like playing soccer or playing football and just like kind of in their own little world and, wants to build Legos. And that was the end of my childhood. Honestly, she physically used me as her crutch to move around the house. She taught me how to make food from anything I could make with milk or water. So macaroni and cheese, different types of cereal, different types of oatmeal, hot dogs, what was a version of ramen noodles. I can't say it was actually ramen noodles, but in essence, I was responsible for feeding my brother, who's 3 years younger than me, taking care of her, learning how to do laundry, learning how to just kind of pick up and stuff like that. Later on, fortunately, right before she passed, one of my aunts moved in and took over a lot of those responsibilities back on. But I think that seed of caregiving for other people was born.
Where was your father
at? Father was in Denver, Colorado at the time. He was an alcoholic at the time. He's been sober for 30 some years now, so I'm super proud
Praise
of him.
God.
It's funny. I was joking with my girlfriend recently, and I was like, he's so different.
That's
He's
really
so
good.
different from a gunny's drill sergeant from the Marine Corps all the way to like text me on the way here. He's like, "Hey, I know you're driving today. I just want to tell you how much I love you."
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm super proud of both my parents.
Yeah.
They've come to terms and fought their own battles to get to where they are, which I'm excited about.
Wow.
Dad comes back into the picture about that time.
Mm.
I go to live with him in Fuquay, North Carolina. Brother goes to live with my mother in Florida, so we're split up. One of those things that hindsight being 2020, I wish we could have changed maybe.
Yeah, I get that.
But I immediately go on a construction site. Literally every weekend, every holiday, every summer break. There was no summer break. There was no vacations, or if we had a vacation, it was to a lake or something like that. It was kind of a quick kind of thing. We didn't have a whole lot at the time, and basically went to learning how to do construction work, and met my first mentor there. And that's kind of when the story began to shift.
Now, did the mentor start business mentor, life mentor?
So the first time I remember actually having a conversation, I think I was 12. It was funny. My father put him on a pedestal. His name was Steve Myrick. He was a home builder that built homes in North and South Carolina. I called him Old Man Myrick, right? I remember him being about my height, which is kind of interesting. His name was Steve. He had pearly white dentures, which was, kind of just one of the things that kind of sticks out at me. But the first time I met him, I remember sensing something different about him. And I think from that moment, I began to study his movements subconsciously. And many of his movements are, I'd watch him be like super like strategic business guy, and like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain. He was an astute businessman. And then I would watch him. My father used to kind of follow him around a little bit like a puppy dog, because that was like his father figure kind of thing. And we would go to a barbecue restaurant called Murray's Barbecue, which no longer exists in North Carolina. And we would be 2 tables over, and Steve and Lona, which was his wife, would get up to leave. And when they got up to leave, Steve would always leave. Well, always the times that I was there, he would leave $1,000 tip or better under a basket of hush puppies. Always to a single mother who was out there trying to kill it, earn some money. And every single time I saw a behavior like that, it was stark contrast to what I was living. Right. We were living a life of scarcity. And I didn't realize it at the time. I later found this out by the Ancestry.com in their DNA search that from all intents and purposes, I'm the first Scoggins in 400 years to become a person of influence and affluence.
Jeez.
So this scarcity, this poverty mindset, this became one of the many, I guess some people call it karmic traits or whatever. I don't call it bondage, but essentially it was this element, and I didn't know it existed. So you fast forward through multiple summers and holidays and weekends and stuff like that, trying to get by in school. Dad had a business. It was successful for a time. And the day it wasn't successful anymore, economic conditions, tax conditions, all this kind of stuff. I remember him pulling me to the side the day he actually was closing his business, essentially, and crying and looking at me and said, "Never forget, Scoggins get by, they never get ahead." And that was my first, bro.
Oh my
labels
God.
has become like, it's something I notice very fast in other people's lives now.
Paradigm.
I'm like, why do you believe that?
Yeah.
Well, and then it's funny, just that one question causes the first of what I call a stall moment. Your brain just stalls. Why do I believe that? And it's funny how that one question can begin to start that, as you talked about, that flicker of light.
Yes. Yes. I love that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start asking that more.
Yeah. So fast forward a little further.
Yeah.
Steve Myrick puts me in business for myself. I drop out of high school to pay the bills because we were struggling. He puts me in business for myself. I go from making hardly any money to making really, really good money really, really fast, 19 years old. And I do what any 19-year-old has ever done that's never been trained to handle money or character or integrity. I blew it all. I spent it all. I got in relationships with the wrong people, and all this kind of stuff. And that took me down a homeless journey that we've talked about ad nauseum online. But in the grand scheme of things, I was baptized at 9 years old, which you and I were talking about a little bit, as someone who already, it's funny, I already knew God existed.
Right.
And I already knew he was for me, but somehow I lost sight of that during that crazy season from like shortly after baptism all the way. We're talking, 2022 is about the time I came out of the homeless journey. refound my faith, had a spiritual divine encounter that was, people can laugh at if they want to. I had a physical manifestation of a God at the time that I said I didn't believe in. He looked an awful lot like somebody who's famous, that's been around for over 2,000 years. And he asked me one question. He said, "Are you willing to surrender?" And at that time, I was pinned to the floor with my knees and couldn't move, frozen. And I don't know if I was frozen in fear because I wasn't expecting a response in this conversation. And ended up starting a company from a trash pile as a construction site after surrendering. About 3 or 4 days later, that company became just under a 9-figure company, annual revenue, 3 states, 400 team members. Some people say, "What's your proof? How do you know that happened?" I'm like, "Bro, there ain't no other way to get to my story, but except he's real."
Yeah.
So that's kind of like I don't know if that's a 5-minute version, but that's
no, it's good. No,
yeah.
and just before I pin it to the question I asked, but the fast growth in such a short period of time, I understand, like, because of Jesus, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what else was happening? Like, did you go crazy? Or did you change much? Or did this grace just come upon what you were already doing?
I became aware of a voice I had been ignoring,
Yeah.
astutely aware of it.
Yeah.
Don't go here. That person's not good. Don't do this. Hey, you're getting off track. And I began paying attention to that voice. I threw myself into the Bible at the time.
Yeah.
Read it cover to cover.
Yeah.
Realized it's a giant onion. Realized you can read the same verse 15 times and get 15 different things from it.
Yeah, manifold.
Right? Yeah. So I began seeing my life. So people always ask me all the time. They said, "Well, tell me your story." I'm like, "Bro, we don't have time. We straight up don't have time." Because I've always related I said, my life's a lot like Forrest Gump or Joseph. Lots of ups and downs. I've had lots of deaths and rebirths along the way. And I think I shared with you that one of the reasons that I do what I do now and kind of have this mentality of integration is because I've discovered that it's the only truth that leads me to peace and fulfillment in the service of others. So, for example, I used to get asked all the time, "Hey, how did you go from being homeless, to building and scaling a 9-figure company, blah, blah, blah." And I think for the first decade, I was like, "Yeah, I did all right." And then I realized that's not you, bro. That's not you. That's not the authentic you. That's what God did through you. It's not what you did for yourself. Right.
Yeah.
So I started walking that back a little bit. And then just like I shared with the homeless journey a little bit, it was like, the canned podcast answer used to be, "How'd you go from one to the other?" So, well, when I was homeless, I was in pride and arrogance and all these kinds of things, which were absolutely true. And then over here, I'm like, well, I try to surrender myself, become humble, become a better leader, and I haven't always been a great leader and all this kind of stuff. And then most recently, literally over the last year, I remember something my grandfather shared with me in 2016. He was already in hospice, essentially. They hadn't sent him home just yet. But he had watched me and been my spiritual mentor pretty much my entire life. When I was spent like 5 or 6 years as a professing, deeply held atheist, he was like, and this is actually, we'll go into some of the stuff that's happening in our world nowadays. He's like, "You have to go past the answers that you want. You have to dig deeper." Right. So we'd have these deep conversations about stuff. And so we had this beautiful connection with him. His name was Silver Fox. It's even tattooed on my arm, appear Silver Fox, so he's definitely a good piece of my life. And I'll never forget this. We were sitting at this little, it's like a nursing home, but it's a nursing home for rehabilitation. He was on different chemos and all kinds of stuff, and they were different things. And finally, he's just like, "I'm done." And he started, like, how I go sit with him. He goes, "Son, guess what happened last night?" I'm like, "What?" He goes, "I had dinner last night with John, with Paul, with Peter." I'm like, "Huh?" And he'd be as sincere as he could be. I was like, I realized he's seeing beyond the veil. And I said, he's close. He's real close. And about that time, it became apparent that he was speaking life over the business that I had. And he's like, he had told me many times, that one day God's going to call you out of this. And for some reason, he decided to tell me that again. He said, I firmly believe that you're going to be called to help people rise, lead, and last. He goes, but if you're going to do that, here's what I want you to know about. I want you to understand that you have to become 1 part lion and 1 part lamb. But more importantly, you have to develop the wisdom to know the difference. And that sat with me and sat with me and sat with me and sat with me. And I was going back. It was crazy, man, dude, as I went back and I looked at footage. So I did a live event in 2021 called Transform You Live. And then our mutual friend Tamara had me speak at one of her events, FounderCon, in Raleigh, where we were using my space. And in both of those cases, one part lion and one part lamb came out on stage. And then
we noticed it,
dude, and from 2021 to 2025, I've been like, what is my authentic message? What am I actually called to carry? What I don't spending all this money hiring all these different people, trying to figure out messaging and brand and and I was like,
should have came to your boy.
I'm like, bro, it's been here the entire time. So when people say, hey, how did you go from being homeless to developing large businesses, speaking, doing the things that I get to do today, that is, dude, it's a joy, man. There's nothing like seeing someone else awaken.
Yeah.
There's nothing like it. But I realized that I had to truly become one part lion and one part lamb.
Totally.
Here's the interesting thing. It's deeper than that. Because a lion, and you want to share a little bit of this on our show. By the way, guys, if you haven't seen our show,
go watch
bro
it.
is on fire. Just saying. But a lion in immaturity, right, is dominant, aggressive, controlling, manipulative, all about control. However, a lion in maturity, bold, courageous, assertive, caring in the fact that it cares for its own. It's protective, right? It's a covering, right? The lamb, on the other hand, in immaturity, is passive, is self-abandoning, people-pleasing, like constantly sacrificing themselves for in theory, they're telling them, and I've been both.
Yeah,
right?
Me too.
In theory, in the service of others.
Yeah.
And you're crossing your own boundaries, you're letting your own stuff slide. And, so then it's like, okay, well, then the mature side is compassionate, caring.
Yes.
And then he shared the story of Jesus with the woman in adultery, which I share with you a little bit. We can dig it as much as you want, but essentially what I've discovered is if you're going to be successful in life with meaning and fulfillment and internal significance, the meaning and fulfillment is not outside, it's inside. And that's where we get stuff wrong. We're constantly chasing what's external rather than realizing the fortitude that has to be shaped internal that causes the external to manifest itself in a holistic, in a beautiful way. And I've discovered that if I can become one part lion and one part lamb, taking the mature versions of both and using that as my character qualities, and I pursue that with integrity, and I can pursue it in detail, then by definition, I can be the embodiment of the Christ that I serve.
Yeah. This is good. I've got two things happening for me right now. Like there's this part of me that I'm like really attached to this universe, faith, language, and then I also right where we're at almost like this because I've also heard you take the lion versus lamb and talk about the importance of flow and stillness in life. So I'm really attached to that. But then there's like this undertone that's happening of like a bit of a different direction.
Okay.
So I kind of want to do that for a second, just follow that. And the preface is like one of the things that I noticed about myself, especially when I'm cooking, right? Like what I mean by that is like when I'm like ready to be out in these streets, and I'm like doing the podcast tours and I'm doing the things, is I end up, feeling like, man, I wish more people would ask me more of what was on my heart than the normal like questions they sort of kind of come prepared to ask. And I'm sort of feeling that a bit right now. Like I'm wondering like what's on your heart? Like what's not, what's in there? What's weighing?
Let me sit that for just a second. My heart breaks for humanity right now. It's funny, Jesus is on the cross, and these words are like ringing true to my soul right now. And it's forgive them, Father, they know not what they do.
I just got chills.
This world right now that is self-manifesting its divisiveness is missing the authenticity that comes from absolute truth and not broadcasted truth that's influenced by outside sources. I see, especially in the matter of how we believe what we believe, it's heavily influenced without quality sources or opposing sources. Or I've discovered that I can't trust anything that I see in the world. I just can't trust it. I have to. You and I talked about this super briefly on the show, which again was fire. But I have to go and sit with things. There's things happening in our nation right now that are causing more divisiveness rather than more unity. I did a talk. It was probably late 2023 for the United States Chamber of Commerce down in Florida. We had about 1,000 or so people in the audience. And sometimes I don't prepare for talks.
I get that.
I get on an airplane and fly to that location. And this is one of those times where I went to go prepare for the talk numerous times and I kept getting blocks. Blockage. I'm like, all right, so I'm just going to trust that you're going to do this. You know, this is the first time, and this is the first time that I stepped in front of a Christian audience, like a deliberate Christian audience.
Yeah.
For some reason, I had a lot of churches would turn me away and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. You too, huh? and yeah, so
Too much truth.
yeah.
Sorry, it's my podcast. Say what I want.
You can say
That's exactly why I did it, so I can say what I want to say.
That's right. You know, but using that same story earlier of the woman caught in the act of adultery, one of the things that God put on my heart was He showed me. I closed my eyes. I had my earbuds in with I had the Apple earbuds in with the transparency cancellation on, and I'm sitting and I'm trying to be still. I'm trying to be present. I'm trying to listen because I want to hear. I don't want to hear what's around me.
Yes, Stephen. Yeah.
I want to hear from the conduit to me.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because I want to hear from the conduit to me, I have to go inside to listen well. And I was asking the Spirit, and again, Jesus is my dog. So I'm like, Lord, what is it you want me to share? And the talk's actually on YouTube. And He kept replaying the word unity.
Yes.
I want unity. I want unity. And so here's where we go with this. I land between the time that I was beginning ready to land and the time I got in the Uber, Lyft, whatever. This is one of those times that for some reason God didn't open the door for me to talk to the Uber driver. He wanted me to sit in stillness, so I did. Which I do love Uber drivers, by the way. They're awesome.
Me too. Yeah.
But he literally showed me, imagine this, because it doesn't say this in the scriptures. How did the Pharisees and the Sadducees find the woman caught in the act of adultery? They had to go searching for it.
Or,
okay,
with her.
Well, that's an option too. Right? The movie that he replayed in my mind was these guys collaborating amongst themselves because they're trying to build a narrative around authenticity, the authentic truth, the Lamb of God, right? The fact that God came to humanity in an effort to get humanity back to God. Okay. And he shows me these Pharisees and Sadducees in this quasi dream state almost, and they go all the way to what we would equate to a red light district. Yep. They essentially go searching. They find this woman. They jerk her out, thinking they got him. They've got him. He's not going to be able to wiggle out of this one. I don't care how wise he is. Not realizing that they're actually leading that woman to redemption.
Right.
So the woman, they bring the woman, they throw him down in Jesus, in front of Jesus. And, Jesus does the famous line of, he who is without sin cast the first stone, or some variation of that. Largely probably in Aramaic. And stones fall, hearts break, they go away walking around. And it dawned on me that is the lion moment. He was like, bro, y'all better not cross this line. I got the power of hell and brimstone. Technically, you remember Sodom and Gomorrah? I can zap. I mean, and of course, I don't know that's what he was writing on the ground. Some say he was doodling. Some say he was like writing down the sin. Some whatever it was, he chose to wipe it away when he was done. There's a whole message right there. And he leans down to this woman and he calls her, in some translations, woman. Some translation calls her daughter.
Yes.
And he says, "Where are your accusers?" So, literally in 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 90 seconds, he goes from literally being the roaring of the lion to the roaring of the lamb.
Yes.
And what I've discovered, and I shared with you on our show, what I discovered is the lion and the lamb both roar, but they do so at different frequencies.
Totally.
However, both roars are in the frequency of love.
Yes.
Bold, courageous, assertive, covering, passionate, protecting, out of love.
Yeah.
Compassion, empathy, recognition, listening, out of love.
Yes.
They're same frequency. So what's on my heart right now is I'm brokenhearted, and the words that keep coming up is like, "Please forgive them, Father, they know not what they do." How many homes right now are divided? Absolutely divided. Man and woman, husband and wife, brother and sister, mother and father, mother and son, son and mother.
Yes.
Like, over stuff that's not the stuff. It's not the stuff. It's not the stuff, bro. Like, it's not the stuff. It's smoke and mirrors, and people are falling for it. It's like, just feed me more, and not realizing that the more you feed on it, the more it consumes you.
Come on.
This is the food that consumes you, not you consuming it.
Yes, come on.
And as a result, what's happening is we're losing sight of authenticity.
Yes.
We're losing sight of the created value. We're losing sight of the chance to partner and have moments of real love. Every human life is meaningful, even the ones you disagree with.
Yes.
And that's real truth.
Totally.
There's people I disagree with on a lot of things.
Totally.
But God still loves them.
Still love them. We on the same team. The scripture, I got to read it just because you touched on it. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12 and 13 says, "We wrestle not against flesh and blood," got a King James version, "but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." So it tells us to take on the full armor of God, right?
Yeah.
And so like the wrestle's not against flesh and blood, and we take the bait all the time.
Feed me more, Seymour. Feed me more.
Oh my God.
Bro,
and you know, so if you're wrestling against another human, you've taken the bait. Like there's the lie has been exposed.
In the row.
Like if you're tearing down publicly another person, you've taken the bait.
Yeah.
Even if you're doing it in the name of truth, because what people don't understand is that they're ruining our witness, and that people don't understand, like especially non-believers don't understand the difference between this opinion of a church member and this opinion of the church member. They just understand that they're not united. And that's a problem. And we need to unite as people and stop allowing language barriers and misunderstandings or interpretations or perceptions of someone's meaning behind what they say. And we need to actually listen and be able to still be in love with people who have opposing opinions, because no matter what, like we all still want the same thing.
Yeah.
We all still want freedom, life, a good future for our children, economy that makes sense, housing. Like we all want the same stuff.
Yeah.
It's just we have different opinions of how we get it.
Bro, and here's the crazy part. You talk about ruining a witness. I've experienced extreme levels of church hurt, and there's a lot of people that have.
Yeah.
The difference is I decided not to judge Jesus by church.
Yep.
I decided not based on leaders that may or may not be leading well or whatever. Because I finally realized that they, meaning anyone who is walking through, struggling through, doesn't fully understand their authenticity, may not be sitting in stillness and presence to actually hear. So what they're hearing is external versus internal, all this kind of stuff.
Yep.
Forgive them, Father, they know what they do.
Yes.
There's an old adage, and I even hate to even say this, but there is some level of truth to it. And this is where I want to help people reawaken, which is why I think becoming one part lion and one part lamb is so vitally important to a holistic wellness approach of living the life that you want to live.
Yes.
And the way that is authentic and divinely gifted to you. Okay. is this essence of the worst thing that ever happened to Christianity is Christians. Jesus says,
I already know.
love one another as I have loved you.
I know.
The same exact talk that I share with you, the Chamber of Commerce.
Yep.
I'm about to go on stage. It's about 45 minutes there. I got there 2 days early so I could watch and sense and like feel, what is this room? What is this? Where are they at? Is this message real? Like, are you sure you want me to carry this message? What's nuts is, I told you that the core message was, I want unity.
Yes.
Jesus telling me, feeling like Jesus is telling me, y'all can laugh at me and say, yo, talk to God, whatever. Y'all, homeless, I did all right.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
That was not Stephen Scoggins. I can promise you that.
Yeah.
Right? He asked me to go pick up 2 rocks. One rock was the size of a river stone. One rock was the size of my hand. I go on stage and I'm presenting the message. I'm telling the story, largely what I did with you, a lot more, with a bit more detail.
Yep.
Put the big rock hidden in a book bag that I took with me, and I used the book bag as if I was dragging her in front of the face of Jesus.
This is so good.
And then I give her, and then I pull up the stone out, and I pull the stone out. And I'm like, most of y'all think that these people are sitting there with a stone like this in their hand to cast at this person, because they were going to stone her. Stone her for not knowing her identity, stoning her for not knowing her authenticity, stoning her for not knowing her created value. If you understand your created value, you won't compromise your created value because of your injury.
Yes.
Okay. So meanwhile, I'm just like, this is the rock. And I drop it on the floor, a little pebble. Our good friend Tamara's actually in the audience, ironically. And I was like, here's what you guys don't understand. God wants unity. I then reach into the bag. I pull out this other stone. I said, this is the stone they would have thrown at her. Here's what I want you to know. Stop throwing stones at each other. All you're doing is causing injury. In the essence of being right or affiliating with a certain belief system or a certain mechanism, what if? I might.
Come on, go for it. Come on.
What if
Yep.
we simply just read the red letters and stop letting other people interpret them for us in their own frame of reference that is based on malicious control, malicious identity. The old saying is that hurt people.
Yep.
Right? Well, guess what? Heal people can heal people.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
There's always the yin and the yang. There's always the opposing force. There's always the immature lion, the mature lion, the immature lamb. And your God-given calling is to come up with the authentic version of yourself.
Yes.
Based on truth, not based on pre-existing trauma, not based on a friend, not based on a coach, not based on an ally. Dude, I've had so many people trying to help me figure out my message, my own team. And it was all done out of like, we're legitimately trying to help you. It wasn't until I went to God and said, what is my truth? What is it I'm called to carry? Dude, I picked up that rock and it's funny. You got to ask Tamara about this moment.
I can feel it.
Bro, all I heard was,
I bet. Because it's.
I picked up that rock and I basically, this is where I probably came off a little angry, but that's a righteous anger. It wasn't like, trying to hurt anybody. I was like, he wants unity.
Yeah.
I dropped the rock from my hand to the floor and boom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? How many times do we choose to be right versus choose to be connected? You can only build connection in truth. You can only build connection in listening. Part of becoming the one part lion and the one part lamb in your life is the lamb listens. It listens for the areas of connection. It doesn't listen for the areas to be right or to overcome a point.
Totally. Dude, this is so good. So what I'm curious is, especially when it comes to, I'd say 8-figure, 9-figure plus entrepreneurs, what's your approach to get them to adopt this message? because what I see in many who haven't embraced the lamb side of it
Mhm.
is that it's incredibly difficult to get them to, because they don't see a reason or
Yeah.
rationale to.
I think the first thing is you have to bring awareness to their pain points.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, by definition, if you're operating outside of integration and alignment,
Mhm.
you're experiencing burnout, overwhelm, fear, self worth issues, insecurity, and so on. So much so that when I went back and looked at my entrepreneurial journey, I realized that the things that actually became major problems in my businesses, my leadership style, my team member development, even how I was operating at home, really came from 5 core constraints.
Mhm.
But before I go to the 5 core constraints, I need to bring awareness to that they all come from a place of what's called emotional dysregulation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm with you.
And you're going to be largely emotionally dysregulated, which is going to cause a problem to become 10 problems because of how you deal with the first problem.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you.
Okay. So responding versus reactivity.
Mm-hmm.
And like you, when we had our amazing podcast, bro, like my core practice now is stillness.
Mm.
I try to start every day with a mantra. I try to start every day with a on the grass in front of the lake, feeling the wind, like hearing the birds, like trying to be present. Like, God, let me be of service. Just let me be of service. You've given me far
But that
too
had to be
much.
hard for you, right? Because I told you I was going to do this, right?
Yeah.
Because number one, I understand what you're saying highly,
Yeah.
right? Like I think I'm a big embodiment of what you described,
Yeah.
lion and lamb, right?
Yeah.
Like I tell that to people all the time.
1,000%.
Yeah, 100%. Already, I used to, I talk to D1 athletes
Yeah.
and Olympians, and I'm like, don't let the emotional fool you. I will still throw these hooks,
That's right.
And so we got that.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you where I'm at and where I'm struggling.
Okay.
Is in the slow side.
Mm-hmm.
And it is, it's not the discipline and the practice of stillness in the
Mm-hmm.
morning. It's the holding of it throughout
Mm-hmm.
the day while being in the go mode.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's one thing to be lion and lamb. It's another to try to hold both while you're moving through the world.
Mm-hmm.
And so where I tend to go is either the extreme. I'm like,
The pin.
forget the morning practice, boom.
Yeah. The pinch.
Or I'll just be all day.
Two
Ocean.
things. Yeah, two things. First of all, I'll say how you start your day is how you'll end your day
I get that.
and experience your day,
Yeah.
right? So if I start in stillness and I start in presence, then I can historically, after some practicing, can carry that presence all the way through the day.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to force and flow, one of the things I've realized that it was a very painful lesson to learn. And it's happened in the last year. We're talking, this is fresh. This is new, right?
I'm learning it right now.
If you have to force it, by definition, it has opposition.
It's true.
Okay.
The difference between opposition and resistance is,
So opposition, again, will make you question your worth. Resistance will help you develop your worth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if you can understand the dichotomy between the two, you can learn to dance between the two.
Yeah.
So if I know that force, for example, this is the messaging piece that is a huge piece of this. It's like, what am I called to carry? I know that I'm supposed to do this.
Yeah.
I just don't know how I'm supposed to do it.
Yeah.
Right. And you're searching. Like, unstoppable entrepreneur. Well, I can teach entrepreneurs all day long to be unstoppable and then not give up and give them strategies and business and tactics and marketing and sales and funnels and automations and processes and systems. But guess what? If they don't change, none of that stuff matters. You can build the best mousetrap on the planet.
You can.
But if you don't know how to operate yourself, you'll never understand how to operate the mousetrap.
You're right.
And as a result, you'll never identify the clients and the customers that actually need what you have to serve. I'm not for everybody. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I'm for people who are relentless in learning to rise, learning to lead, and want to last in transparency.
I'm learning that about myself, and I knew that about myself, but I just made a lot of allowances because of the lion lamb thing, because I was so lion.
Yeah.
That I went all lamb when I was like the moment I got saved, I went complete lamb.
Yeah.
And then it was just like, oh, come to Jesus. And then no matter what you say to me, no matter how you treat me or my family, come to Jesus. And then it's like after life kept being like, "Oh, I know what I'll do to you. I'll just take advantage of that." I just like,
Mhm.
and then the lion came out. I was like,
Yeah, yeah. So, all right. So I'm gonna touch on the 5 constraints, and I'll give
yeah,
you one word
yeah,
that will
yep,
bridge that gap.
yeah. Let's do it.
So the 5 constraints are arrogance,
Okay,
ignorance, impatience, fear, and insecurity.
okay,
Okay.
yeah,
These are the 5 emotional triggers that cause behavioral challenges.
okay,
Okay.
mm-hmm.
So the opposite of arrogance is humility, but not passivity.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
The opposite of ignorance is teachability with that develops wisdom. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
The opposite of impatience is not patience.
Resilience.
It's actually presence.
Oh, presence.
Think about this.
Mm.
One of the last times I was in Nashville, I got a chance to hang out with our good mutual friends. And one of the things I kind of had in this moment as I had this epiphany that all entrepreneurs, all leaders, all achievers, all people who are trying to do big things in their world. In fact, I actually did this one time. If I put them all in the room and I said, how many of you guys think you should be further ahead than you actually are? Every flipping hand. People watching, listening right now, like, me too, right? So what happens is you lean into striving and chasing.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you're leaning into striving and chasing, the thing that you need to do today to be present in the business that's up tomorrow is not getting done. Instead, what you're doing is you're actually just chasing the shiny thing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you're chasing a client, maybe you're chasing a team member, maybe you're chasing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What I have discovered recently, and this is something I'm still learning and working through, which is why I like talking about it right now, because I'm workshopping and
Yep.
even live.
I
Right?
get that. That's what
Is understanding that if I can be present in today and show up the best I can today for this present moment with my present gifting, with my present knowledge, my present understanding, then I can affect today in a way that sets up tomorrow. Rather than saying my 3-year goal is this, my 5-year goal is this, my 10-year goal is this, my 1-year objective is this. Sometimes you're going to hit your revenue goal. Sometimes you're not. Sometimes you're going to hit your profit goal. Sometimes you're not. Sometimes you're going to be able to keep that team member that is so instrumental in your business. Sometimes you're not. And if you spend all your time trying to control it,
Yeah.
there's nothing that you can control that actually creates flow. Flow is the process of unobstruction. You can't have flow if it's obstructed. You want a river to flow, you can't put a dam in front of it. Because it'll just hit the weight of the dam.
Yeah.
And it'll pull up. And when the dam breaks, all of a sudden now you have explosion of emotions and things you have to deal with.
Yeah.
Right? When you understand that presence, by definition, is probably the anchor course of almost all the solutions that you really need, then you'll understand that the insecurity and the fear of the other 2 constraints. So insecurity, the opposite of insecurity, is actually confidence. But confidence is rooted in truth, love, and authenticity. You can't get that without understanding how to become more present to understand what true self is. So you'll always be chasing worth and insecurity and things for other people. You're going to be chasing until you finally sit still. And like you and I talked about, dude, the first 15 seconds suck. When I went through this massive transition last year, one of the things that actually happened was that I created a journaling practice. I mentioned to you that I went through this episode where I poured my heart out to God. I didn't understand what was going on. By definition, I had everything that someone would want. I had a major transition, and I changed the font color to blue, and I said, Lord, if there's anything you have to say to me, please share it now. And bro, I could not stop typing quick enough. Y'all can call it woo-woo or whatever, but it's things that are in that blue words have already manifested.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
One of the things that he said is, I'm always talking, but seldom are listening. People are seldom. My children, he said specifically, my children are seldom listening.
Yeah.
The body that you carry, that carries your frequency, is not your authenticity. It's the frequency of that is your authenticity. It just happens to be held in a human shell.
Yeah.
Okay.
With you.
So if we want to overcome fear and insecurity, which by definition has us chasing, then you simply have to sit with self. Okay. So there's the 5 constraints, my little mini spiel on 5 constraints. Hopefully there's some nuggets in there for some folks. How do you move? You have to search for truth. That's how you find it. The Bible talks about it's the glory of God to conceal a matter. It's the glory of kings to search it out.
I love that scripture.
So So here's the thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's so funny.
We can run around saying, God has called me to be a king. I'm a prophetess. I'm a this. I'm a that. I'm a whatever. I'm a self-labeled person. Okay. I can call myself. It's fun. You know what's the thing that I love so much about my girlfriend is, there's been a lot of king talk because I like to talk about the dichotomy between King David and Saul.
Okay.
And she's like, "What does being a king really mean?"
Mm.
And then she says, "What does being a queen really mean?"
Mm.
And I realized, in order to become a king or queen in God's eyes, which doesn't mean you get to be king of the world, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't put you in Jesus's place.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you stewardship over an initiative
Mm-hmm.
that is aligned with whatever God or Jesus wants to bring to the marketplace. What I discovered is you have to be constantly searching. And to my grandfather's credit, you have to search past the answers that you want.
That's good.
Most of us are consuming our bias.
Oh, that's so true.
We don't realize our bias is laced with poison.
Oh my gosh.
It's laced with poison. And for that reason, we can't build bridges. Instead, we're digging ditches. And the more we dig, the deeper we get, the more crud poison gets put in that same hole. You see what I'm saying? Like it's poison. So when you stop poisoning your own well, then you'll be successful.
So talk to the audience about what you're doing now to fix it, or to do your role to make a difference, and how how people can enroll into that philosophy of transformation.
Yeah. So I think the easiest thing to understand is, as someone who feels like I'm called to lead some form of initiative, right? I've tried to lay it down numerous times, and it keeps it's like pushing a basketball underwater, right? Just shoots back up again. I learned that in order to help people understand how to become one part lion and one part lamb, I had to embody it first. I have to be anchored in it.
And you said I learned. Was there a moment you learned that?
It's a learning process.
You just started to see it.
Yeah. So
notice it.
When you understand the immature qualities, and I'll be releasing some resources on this in the near future, but when you understand the immature qualities of the lion and the immature qualities of the lamb, and you understand the mature qualities of the lion and you understand the mature qualities of the lamb, you can begin to pull the mature qualities together. And then when you pull them together, what happens is now you get to integrate them.
Yes.
So now what it is like, rather than operating out of fear, I'm going to operate out of trust. I'm going to trust that this is happening for me, not against me. It's going to come to me. I'm not going to chase it. You start bringing the elements of the lion and the lamb together. And now that I've spent the last probably 5 years learning to embody this, I feel like I'm ready now to lead people into it, to embody it within themselves.
Yes.
And if we can create that, I feel like it'll be a pebble that ripples in a lake. Eventually, the entire ripple touches the entire lake. And we're going to have enough people out there learning to listen, learning to be compassionate, but also being bold. Bold seeks truth. Seeks truth. Doesn't seek bias, it seeks truth. So one of the things we've decided to do is, I'm going to work with 10 or 12 entrepreneurs moving forward a year, period. And I'm going to work one-on-one with them. I'm going to invest in them. I may even invest in their businesses potentially. But more importantly, I just recently bought a home. I won't say it's a home. It's actually more of a space. It's a space to hold space. The prayer over the threshold is, God, anyone that crosses this threshold, let them experience their awakening.
Wow.
It's on the lake of Lake Norman, beautiful surroundings, very nice home. And we're calling the place Safe Haven. It's a place where you can come take off your armor in safety. You don't have to worry about being wounded by anybody on the property, or me leading you towards or trying to lead you towards any kind of painful moment that there's not redemption for. So we use it for that. I'm also going to bring a select group of leaders, and we're also going to do some what I'm referring to as the lion den work. What I've discovered is God has historically been putting me in places to help leaders lead. And here's the crazy part. This is what I love about God. He's using the fact that I led so poorly and learned so much to give me insights into what needs to happen. So, yeah, so that's so that's kind of like
Use
that's
everything
yeah.
what you did wrong and tell you how to
Yeah.
teach other people how to do it right.
Yeah,
I
so
get
we're gonna
that.
call it Safe Haven Elite Retreat at the Lake,
I love
and
that.
we're gonna do it 4 times a year,
Wow.
3 days of experience, immersive.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll do the business and the tactical strategies if
Yep.
that's what they're doing, but more along the lines of what we're gonna walk through how to ground, how to resonate, how to people don't understand. This has been scientifically measured that frequency itself is a proven thing. Your soul has a resonant frequency. Just like you hit a tuning fork and went to a water, you'd watch the water vibrate at the same state as the tuning fork. You can do that on yourself.
Yes.
And actually vibrate your frequency of your soul to raise the it's
I believe it.
it's interesting. Scientifically, they've proven that if you're operating in fear, condemnation, guilt, and shame, and you know this, you can the resonant frequency is about an inch or half an inch off your skin. Okay, and this has been, you can find it. There's lots of different studies you can see this in some certain lighting and whatnot. Someone who operates in love and authenticity. And this is one of the things I loved about you that I actually commented on our show. By the way, if you haven't seen our show, you need to go watch this guy. It's amazing. Is the energetic field ends up going as much as 4 feet off your presence. So when you run into somebody like, dude, I get the tingles. I feel magnetic. Like I just feel drawn to them.
Yeah.
What you're being drawn to, if they're actually operating in true lion lamb philosophy, is you're getting drawn to truth, love, and authenticity.
Yes.
Anyone who's not drawing you based on truth, love, and authenticity and wants you to worship them versus worship the God that created them, that's a no-no.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If you can get around somebody who has done what I refer to as done the hard work, done the deep work, if you can get to that place, then guess what? Now you won't. Joe Dispenza, right, does this meditative practice. He puts, 1,000 people together. Okay. And they all meditate at the same time. I call that listening. Some people say, well, praying in the spirit is speaking in tongues. It might be. I think praying in the spirit is actually listening, is shutting up and listening, closing your eyes and being present.
I agree.
Right?
That's not
so. These people have these supernatural experiences based on the combined frequency that they're broadcasting together because they're actually relating in love, truth, and transparency.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, I can talk about this all day.
I love that. I love that, man. I think the safe space is where I want to land it. I think just, number one, I see that as the trend moving forward. I can't. You're probably the 5th or 6th person I heard in the last 7 days that have said, I want to go deeper with fewer versus wider with many. Yeah. Right. Like I'll coach everybody. I'll give them content, but like I'm taking these people underneath my wing. Jesus had 3, then 12, then 72. So I just see that model being, and I think some of it's just bandwidth and capacity. Things are moving so fast. We can't serve people at the depth we want to serve them, and if it's too many of them, like people want hands-on, real access, real conscious presence from leaders. And
if you chase the many, you'll never serve the one you're supposed to serve.
Exactly.
You cannot do them both together.
Exactly.
It's its own form of mammon.
Yeah. So I love what you're doing. You're setting a tone for the future, and I think many people will follow that model.
Thank you.
Of the safe haven. So, man, let people know how they can find out about you, and if there's any last thing on your heart, feel free to share it.
Oh gosh. Well, there's a couple of different things. I think first of all, they can find me at Stephen Scoggins, STEPHEN, Scoggins, SCOGGINS. It's a tough one to spell.
I know.
.com.
We got you.
For
website on the screen.
That's right. And then Stephen_Scoggins on Instagram. I'm most active on TikTok and Instagram, but I'm personally most active. My team handles the other ones, but most active on Instagram.
Okay.
I love talking to people and sharing and stuff like that. If they're interested in safe haven, just DM me.
Yeah.
But I have a tool that we created because I've realized until you're aligned, you can't be effective. And most of us don't realize we're not aligned.
Amen.
And as a result, we operate in a form of dysfunction, and you can't scale dysfunction. So what we created is as a free resource. There's absolutely nothing to sell. It's a tool. It's at StephenScoggins.com/alignment or /alignment. I don't know if it's forward or back, but it's your traditional /alignment. And essentially it's a 7-question tool to understand where you're at. It comes with a 30-page tool for you to then go use on your own to work through some stuff and see that. And then, dude, Man, I can't thank you enough, man. I love you, dude.
I love you too, man.
You're so awesome.
I appreciate you. And I appreciate you for the unity message you carry.
Thank you, Rob.
It comes through so strong when you exude that. So I just want to say, man, like unity through lion and lamb is a big part of what I'm taking away from this interview, is unity through the power of being lion and lamb. And so thank you for that. I appreciate you, man, and more to come.
Thank you, man, dude. I appreciate you more than you understand. One final comment is that message is not mine. That message is given to me to give to others.
Yes.
Jesus, God wants unity. He wants the shenanigans to stop. He wants us to stop harming one another in all the ways.
Yeah.
He wants to stop throwing stones.
Well, I think it's a good time to say, who can we forgive? What stones can we drop? We always say that, inspiration without application equals frustration. And so now you heard a lot. Let's take a moment to just apply that. Take your notes and write like, man, where are some areas in my life that I can apply this? Schedule into your calendar. And I think one of the most practical applications is the power of forgiveness and the strength of unity. So where in your life can you forgive? Where can you be united? Where can you go be a seeker of truth? And if you don't know where to start, I'm looking at a powerful man right here that'll help you get started. Okay. Remember to like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, share this content with others, and let us hear back from you. It's so important to me that I hear what's working for you in your life, because that's what shapes what we mine from the genius of our guests. Okay. Love you. Until next time, keep seeding greatness.